Bismillahi wa kafa. Peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. This is SMC. We convey you here 9 resolutions from United Nations Security Council, which are waiting from our President, Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud, President, Republic Federal of Somalia. After 12 years of Bangladesh peace and state building process, the United Nations Security Council asked the federal government of Somalia to achieve sovereign capabilities in 1 year in order to graduate from the imposition of Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 of the United Nations Charter. End of African Union mission in Somalia, Amisom, by the end of December 2024, lift the arms embargo and fulfill the Somali aspirations for secure, stable, peaceful, united, democratic, and prosperous Somalia standing on its feet. Sovereign capability associated with the concept of self-sufficiency means the ability to ensure under full national control and without reliance on any direct foreign assistance, the execution and sustainment of national security and defense objectives. The security objectives encompass all other national objectives. Unfortunately, Somalia wasted time and resources for becoming worth of sovereign state that has all necessary capabilities. The fast approaching deadline is to achieve sovereign capability by mid-2024 should worry the Somali leaders and every Somali citizen concerned with the future of his or her country. In the case of Somalia, the overlooked futures for the status of sovereign capabilities are the commitment of national unity, the respect of the rule of law, the completion of the professional constitution, and the strengthening of public confidence in government through just administrative decisions that are lawful, reasonable, and conducted in a procedural, fair manner. The activities of achieving sovereign capabilities are laid out in the Professional Federal Constitution. Second, the federal government's program approved by the federal parliament. Third, the directives in the resolutions and presidential statements of the United Nations Security Council. Fourth, the economic management program undermining the debt relief initiative HIPC. Fifth, Somali's transitional plan STP developed for the exit of African Union peace and security forces after 16 years of presence in Somalia. Sixth, the settlement of the status of the Northwest region is Somaliland of Federal Republic of Somalia. Seventh, the national security architecture. Eighth, the justice and correction reform plan. Ninth, the guidelines for the preparation of credible, free and fair one vote and one person election system. In a nutshell, the sovereign capabilities are manifested in the establishment and performance of federal, state, and local institution is capable of carrying out effectively and efficiently the state functions in compliance with the rule of law throughout the country. The synergic and systematic working relations between the federal government of Somalia and the federal member states FMS represents the first step for achieving sovereign capabilities. Political disagreements prevent such healthy intergovernmental relations. Although the FRS remains practically fragmented, although the FRS remains practically fragmented internationally, the federal government of Somalia is recognized as legitimate government representing Somalia as one country, one people that is part of the world and the international community. This special privilege should have motivated the Somali leaders and the elite to expedite the political, social, economic, and security integration of the country through genuine dialogue and consensus translated into strong national institutions. Unfortunately, the exercises of 2020 and 2021 deepened the state fragmentation and political racism that perverted the Somali political culture. Narcissism is a personality trait which combines selfishness, a feeling of entitlement, demand for admiration, and lack of empathy. Narcissists have fragile self-confidence, a divided self that vacillate between self-inflation and inferiority and sense of revenge of power. Political narcissists have to be disdained and marginalized. The United Nations Security Council, acting under the authority of Chapter 7 of the United Nations Chapter, issued 13-page resolution SRES 2628/2022 of March 31st, 2022 to direct the Somali authorities to undertake long list of political, legal, security, and administrative actions before the exit of Hshm, renamed ADMIS forces from Somalia on December 31st, 2024. After that date, the federal government Somalia assumes the responsibilities of protecting the Somali state and people. It's worth quoting below a critical passage of the resolution which illustrates the themes of gaining sovereign capabilities. Sovereign capabilities. Recognizing that military action alone will not be sufficient to resolve threats to peace and security in Somalia, emphasizing that the protection of civilians is critical to build sustainable peace, and reiterating the need to propose a holistic approach that reinforces the foundation of peace and security through enhancing. First, effective governance and public administration, anti-corruption, preventing organized crimes, the rule of law, justice and law enforcement, efforts to counter terrorism, efforts to promote terrorist disengagement and defections, preventing and countering violent extremism conducive to terrorism, security sector reform, inclusive politics and reconciliation. Each theme involves infrastructural structure, policies, laws, rules, procedures, practices, transparency, and accountability. To ensure a fully functioning federal system, which is now in question, the resolution urges the federal government of Somalia and federal member states to collaborate effectively and efficiently on all national priorities for the benefit of all Somalis. As a logical step to this regard, resolution underscores the urgent need to finalize the Constitution as the legal and political foundation of Somali's government and institutions. The resolution authorities the recruitment of the new security forces totaling 20,825 cadets by the end of June 2024, subject to appropriate vetting procedure and the establishment of civilian oversight and accountability of the security and defense apparatus. Although the federal government of Somalia is at serious capacity disadvantage to collaborate and coordinate with multiple international partners that have different, sometimes conflicting political and cultural interests and priorities, the collaboration and the coordination between federal government of Somalia and the international partners remain vital. On December 22, 2022, the World Bank approved $75 million project titled Somalia Enhancing Public Resources Management Project SERP, with the aim of building state legitimacy, strengthening accountability, transparency, and reducing institutional fragmentation required for a delivery of services to the Somali citizens. Performance of public administration is far from acceptable level. Meetings of the sectoral ministries of the federal government of Somalia and federal member states are frequent without clear rule-based functioning integration. As show of intergovernmental relationship, the Ministry of Finance publishes at the end of each month a consolidated fiscal budget data of the federal government and 5 federal member states: Puntland, Galmudug, Hirshabelle, Jubaland, and Southwest. It's sad to note that data from Puntland are not included in the consolidation data of the month of May 2023. President Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud traveled to New York, USA to address the United Nations Security Council meeting of June 22, 2023 on Somalia, chaired by the State Ministry of Foreign Affairs of United Arab Emirates, UAE. He appealed for the lifting of arms embargo in place since in 1992 as a necessary condition to effectively defeat terrorist group Al-Shabaab and build a peaceful and prosperous future for Somalia. In reaction, Voice of America, VOA, and Herald Institution published two articles under the titles: 1. Somalia appeals for removal of arms embargo, and 2. And 2nd, locked and loaded the dangers of prematurely lifting the Somali army embargo. Both articles highlighted the risks associated with the premature lifting of arms embargo on the following grounds: the first, based on the deep-seated clan loyalty in Somali society and the lack of integration of Somali National Army SNA. Lifting of arms embargo could fuel inter-clan conflicts. Second, the federal government of Somalia lacks the authority and capacity to fully control all its borders and entry ports. Therefore, the risks for illicit entry of arms in the country are high, and those illegal arms could end up in the hands of criminals and terrorists. Third, the existence of open arms market in Somalia, while the federal and the state governments lack the capacity to monitor and trace. Fourth, the potential instability in the neighboring countries of Somalia for the followers of illegal armies in Somalia. Although the UN Security Council awaits from August to November 2023 several reports from the federal government of Somalia, African Union, and UN, and the United Nations Security Council, it seems that the observations in the VOA and Herald institutions or institute articles have influenced the internal deliberation of the United Nations Security Council, as can be inferred from its 8-page resolution S/Res/2687 of 27th of June 2023. The resolution reiterates the holistic governance approach for achieving sovereign capabilities asked in the resolution 2628 of March 31st, 2022. In addition, it is solicited the implementation of the national security architecture agreements in terms of budgeting, training, procurement, force integration, and distribution between federal states, proper management of weapons and ammunition at federal and state levels, the fight against illicit trade of arms and ammunition, and finally, early stabilization and recognition of all areas liberated from Al-Shabaab, the meaningful participation of civil society in public policy discussion. The resolution encourages the UN member states and supports Somalia with establishment of maritime security divided into Coast Guard, maritime police, and naval forces to reduce maritime crimes and prevent smuggling. To take advantage of this support, the federal government of Somalia and federal member states should resolve as quickly as possible all pending political and constitutional questions for united territory and people under the rule of democratic federal and state governments. In the light of the above discussion, the federal government of Somalia and federal member states should pay close attention to the directives of the United Nations Security Council resolutions and paralyze transition from shared sovereignty situation under Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 to fully fledged sovereignty situation sustained by sovereign capability. The danger of falling short of the target is high. So this was the report from the United Nations Security Council, which are waiting from President Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud and his government, Somalia. So the Somali sovereignty is in danger at this moment, and we do not know what will come in the future. So there are 9 resolutions awaiting from President Xasan Sheikh Maxamuud and his government to complete, that the Somalia can gain sovereignty or full sovereignty. These 9 resolutions, as soon as the federal government of Somalia send this to the United Nations Security Council, then the UN will check, control, and balance, and after that, if they are capable, the Somalis, if they are capable, full sovereignty, they will gain full sovereignty. If not, we do not know what will come. So in Somalia now is Chapter 7 and 8. It's in danger as a sovereign state. This is Southern Media Cooperation conveying the resolution from UN Security Council. Thank you for your watching. Peace be upon you.
agaasimaha guud isagaale dekadiyo aeroboorto isagaale arrimaha bulshadana isagaale awaamirta ciidankana isagaale aruurinta canshuuraha isagaale ambaqadka filadana isagaale 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 agaasimaha guud isagaale dekadiyo aeroboorto isagaale arrimaha bulshadana isagaale awaamirta ciidankana isagaale aruurinta canshuuraha isagaale ambaqadka filadana isagaale
dalka iyaga qaba
Isagale, Isagale, Isagale.